This week we will be learning how to manage email lists in your XpanZion enterprise platform. This week we are learning to manage mass mailing lists and email subscribers. This will be the foundation you need to develop your opt-in and follow-up sequence for your automated marketing funnel and email campaigns. This week we'll learn how to create a new email list, how to edit your subscription pop-up box content, and how to add a subscription box and a pop-up to your web pages. So let's get started. I'll set up a share screen. All right, to get started with our training this week, we're going to go in our back office of our XpanZion enterprise system. And when you're in your back office with the black menu on top with all of your modules, we're going to be selecting mass mailing. Could be under more. So find mass mailing in your menu and click on mass mailing. And then when your mass mailing screen loads, we're going to be going on the left side. Second menu item is mailing lists. So let's click on mailing lists. And then when this page loads, this is where we create our mailing list. So to create a new list, it's in the upper left. Click the Create button. And then creating a list is very simple because all you have to do is name your list. So I could do this one as an example. We'll do like Momentum Mondays test list. Okay, so the blue area again is showing what's a mandatory field. So the name of the mailing list is mandatory. The next box underneath the name of the mailing list is website pop-up redirect URL. So this would be the page after somebody subscribes to your list. This would be the page that they land on after the subscription. So if you don't put something here, they would subscribe and they would stay on the page that they subscribed. The page would say thank you for your subscription, but then they would be it would be up to them to figure out what the next step is that they should take. So they'd be looking at all the various options on your website. So this, by putting a confirmation, you're keeping them moving forward step by step in your funnel process. So it's a very good idea to have a confirmation page that could deliver some valuable content like a video and the download. Confirmation page is also a good place that you can let people know that their free gift is on their way to their inbox, and that if they don't see it, that they should check their spam folder or their junk mail and see if it landed there, and then they can mark it safe so they'll see future messages from you. We move down on this form a little bit more and we see we have some modules installed. Again, these ones with the Z's are specific to our XpanZion platform, been custom built by our engineering team. The ones with the targets are fields that are already there, but we've just made them so they're more available and visible on these forms. So we've got one for active, so the checkbox has to be checked for this to be an active list. Stealth is in the case of unsubscribe, so it's mandatory to have a physical address and an unsubscribe for unsolicited mails. And so if they're going to unsubscribe from a list, we have to make sure that they can see the list. So we would unclick that box to make it so it's not stealth. Stealth would mean that the recipient can't see the list. So if we want to give them the option to unsubscribe, we uncheck the box to make sure that the list is not stealth. We're going to cover here, so we scroll down a little bit more, and this area down here is where the content for the pop-up box would go. So this is the second area of our training. We're editing our pop-up box content for our subscriptions. So again, we have building blocks here. This is a drag and drop editor. And I suggest with this that you just get it started here. Drag in likely a text and image block and maybe a title block, because it's a good idea to make a privacy statement. We've listed some suggestions on the worksheet for this week. So something like, we respect your privacy and we won't share your information with anyone. So if you just drag in those two blocks to get started, and you can edit them here if you want to. There's going to be a way here in a couple of minutes that we can edit this on the front of the web page as well. So this is really all there is to making a new mailing list. So let's click Save on this. So now my list is saved. Another thing I want to point out while we're here in the back office is in the upper right, there's this link for recipients. If you click this link, this will show you who is on this mailing list. So you can keep track of your subscriptions here. Again, this is a brand new list, so there's no recipients on my list right now. The next thing we're going to do is go to the front of the website. So let's go back in our upper menu in the black bar, and again, could be under More. And this time we're going to choose Website. And I've got another tab ready to go for this, so I'll just switch over to my other tab. So I wanted to use our July newsletter because I know that this one has already got a pop-up box on it. So I'm going to click into the member news for July. And then when this page loads, we're going to demonstrate how to add a pop-up box and a subscription box to your web page. All right, so when you get to the page that you want to put your opt-in box or your pop-up box, it could be a specific page just for the purpose of having somebody opt in for a free gift. In this case, I'm just going to use a page that I already have to do a demonstration. So we're going to click the Edit button in the upper left. Find the Edit button and click that. And then we get into our edit mode, where our building block tray will slide out from the left side. And the block I want to show first is this newsletter block. And again, we see here we have another Z in front of the subscribe with name. So the newsletter would require just an email to get subscribed to a list. The subscribe with name would also ask for a name. And it's beneficial to have a name because you can write a code in your email that will reference the recipient by their name. And this can be just first name. So it's a little bit more personal if you do it that way. And we see on our page over here, we do have a subscription box right at the top of our newsletter that's got the name and email field in it. So that would be subscribing to our newsletter list so that you'll get the news and announcements from the IDSP Business Academy. So the way that that works, how you get a subscription box on your page is you click and you drag. So click on the block that you want, click and hold it, and then drag it onto the page and drop it by unclicking the mouse. And then the next box here that will come up is which newsletter we're going to have this box subscribed to. So you can go into the pull down, and if you're using going to subscribe to the list that you just created, find that list in your pull down here and select the list that you want. In my case, I'll go down and I'll pick the newsletter list and then click continue. So now we see here the difference between the two boxes. So I drug in a newsletter box, which is the second one here, and that requires just an email. And then we have the one that I had in prior, which is this top one that has got name, email, and the subscribe button. Okay, so that's a static subscription box that's right on your page. It's not going to be a pop-up. Okay, so next I want to demonstrate putting a pop-up box on your web page for subscriptions. And this page I already have one on here, so I'm just going to select this box and delete it so we can do a demonstration with the new list that I just created. So I'm going to go over on the left side with my building blocks, and I'm just going to scroll down until I see newsletter pop-up. And again, we've got one with the Z, that's the newsletter pop-up with name. So if this is a module that you don't have installed and that you would like to have, so you can reference your email recipients by their name, call us and we'll help you get that installed. So you'll have that feature. I'll click and drag newsletter pop-up. So I'm going to click and hold and then drag this block onto my page and then let go of the button and it will go right there. And then again, the next box is asking which list we would like this subscription box to go to. And I'll go down and I'll select the Momentum Mondays list that I just created and click continue. And so now this indicates that this is the pop-up box on the page. And I'll demonstrate one more thing and then I'll save it and then we can see how the box works after that. So there's a link here in this yellow banner that says click here to edit dialog content. So let's click that. Where is it? So click that link that says here to edit dialog content. So here is our pop-up box with those two blocks that we just drug in. And this is the reason why I wanted to show to start it from your back office and then complete it on the front of your website. Because here is where we see that we can shrink this down so that our block will actually fit on inside of the pop-up box. So that's supposed to be an image there. And I can double click that and pick an image. Let's pick this one with Kim Lock's event coming up because that's kind of the shape of a book. So it would show up like that. You can edit your text just by highlighting. You can click on it just once and it will highlight the whole thing and then you can type your text. And then also we can take this bottom block and sometimes I notice it goes all the way off the page. So what I do is I use the control button or whichever way your computer works to minimize your screen a little bit so you can get the handle furthest to the right and drag that over so it stays in the pop-up box. And then we can increase the size again once we've done that. And so this text could be, we respect your privacy. Okay, so get your specific content in here. And this is a way that you get to see it, exactly how it will look. And then when you have it the way that you like it, click the Save button. Okay, so now that the page is saving and that it's loaded up again, we can see how the box works. So what happens is somebody comes to the page, they scroll a little bit, and they decide that they want to leave the page. So when your mouse goes up off the page, that's when the box will come up. And there we see it with the subscription box in it. So that's how the pop-up box works.